A year ago, almost to the day, Souness sat in that chair and said, De Zerbi doesn't know our football. And he's come in and he's shown, I do. More than that, I'll show you how to succeed in this game.
Well, I understand what Graeme is saying because his early record in management is not fantastic. I think that he started off in Palermo. I think was out after 8 or 9 games. Although, in fairness to him and in mitigation, he only came in at the start of that particular September when the other manager had walked out. And then Benevento, got a lot of praise for playing some nice football, but they found themselves in trouble. And Sassuolo did okay. Shakhtar Donetsk ended up winning a competition. So I understand where Graeme's coming from in that sense, and it's all very well to look forward or to look now a year on. The man's. He's got the Midas touch at this moment. He has done absolutely nothing wrong. Everything that he has touched has turned to gold at this moment. Where it's been terrific is that he's sold some excellent players for big money and brought in cheaper players who have, effectively taken their places and done exceptionally well. But I think sometimes, and it'd be interesting to hear what Simon thinks of this here. Sometimes, when Brighton or a club like that, they are going in for a player in Europe, it's a certain price for it. If Chelsea or Manchester United were going in for that player, suddenly the price is an extra maybe 20-25 million pounds, and that's big in news. But having said this, he has done fantastically well. Really fantastically well, because I thought myself, when you've lost that calibre of player, they are hard to replace, and also it seems almost seamless. It's seamless.
But you need to know the English game to succeed in it.
I think. You know what? I have to say, I think a lot of managers still watch the English game. I'm not saying that after they finish their own game in Italy or something like this here that they sit down and got to get tuned into this. But they do know their football, and they have an idea. But it's still, what he has done has been exceptional so far. Exceptional.
I mean, I hear on the odd day off, Simon, he'll sit in a closed room and just watch game after game after game. This is what he does.
Lots of people do that. That's his job.
So he should.
Yeah.
It's part of his job. Yeah. I mean, to Graeme's point, if you look at his record, it didn't leap out at you, did it? I mean, it's a record that had 7 or 8 clubs on it, which Graeme pointed out, and then we pointed out how many clubs he'd managed, and he didn't like that particular example. But the win record in those clubs wasn't huge. So there was, everyone can see the vision now. The vision has arrived. So I have to give Graeme some context to his observations at the time. And we can't on one hand, forever and a day, turn around and say to everybody that the Premier League is different from other leagues. It's got different component parts to it. It's more physical. And then expect people that haven't managed in it to not be falling foul of the observation that you do have to understand it slightly better. He wasn't coming into a broken football club, by the way. He wasn't coming into something that needed fixing. He came into something that he had the luxury of having the opportunities to enhance. Now he's enhanced it. And it's solely down to him, the enhancements, the recruitment of players, the bettering of players, the overcoming of the obstacles when your players are being moved out and making sure that the team isn't suffering as a result of it. All of these things are great. That doesn't mean Roberto De Zerbi is the next best thing since sliced bread and that he can naturally translate into any job that he goes into.
No one's saying that, though. But he's taking Brighton to the next level.
That will be the narrative being built up around him. That ultimately what he's doing means he can translate into the next job. If it's Manchester United, if it's Liverpool, the next time a job comes up, he'll be indexed to it. I think he's a very sensible fellow that works very hard, and so he should. Because I don't think that should be something we should all go, does he work hard? Oh, isn't that great? We should all think that's a sentiment everyone should do. He's disciplined, he's focused, he's managing a side with lesser expectations. Let's get this side focused against when their expectations rise and see how they do then. It's a whole different ball game going out of Brighton and managing a big football club. Not a well-run one, a successful one with less expectations upon it and at times pinching themselves to where they are. A football club that expects to be there, that subsequently isn't at this moment in time, managing that environment. But right now, he's doing remarkably well. And Graeme's words look like an easy opportunity to say, well, shows how little you knew at the time. But nobody knew. The only people that really possibly knew were Brighton. Nobody in this room and nobody amongst football. And if anyone did, they're a liar. Turn around and say, De Zerbi will come in and he'll shake it up.
Actually, to be fair to him, the chief executive, Paul Barber, came on this show and said, we have done extensive homework on this guy.
And so they should.
We think he will take us to the next level and has done so.
I'm not quite sure that's what he said. What he said was we've
Because
done
you appointed the odd turkey and it didn't work out.
Very much so. And the reasons that I appointed them, I want to wobble my head at. Because I looked at it at the time, didn't want to appoint Peter Taylor, yet still went ahead and did it. That was an act of self-harm, because clearly I wasn't feeling happy about my life at the time. But the point is this, is that, of course, Paul Barber said, we've done our research, we've looked into this, because that was in direct contrast to what Souness was saying. Souness was making the allegation that you can't possibly have done your homework. So he countermanded that, or counteracted it. He did not necessarily turn around and say that we expect him to improve it. But what he has done is they've done really, really well, and that's their stock in trade.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.